Well, hi, everyone. My name is Sean Bowie. I serve as an Arizona State Senator here at the state capitol. I represent Legislative District 18, which is in the East Valley, which includes Ahwatukee and parts of Chandler, Mesa, and Tempe. This is my sixth and final year in the Senate representing our community. For me, growing up, civics and government was really important. I'm a product of our public schools here in Arizona, in my district, both the Kyrene and Tempe Union high school districts. And from a young age, I was always interested in government and policy and how we can make a difference in the lives of Arizonans and how we can pass policies that help people, that invest in our education system, in our workforce, ways that we can just continue to grow our state, the state that we all live in, and that I've lived most of my life in. So for me, growing up, running for office wasn't the first thing on my mind. I knew I was interested in politics, but didn't think I would ever run for office one day. So after graduating from college, from ASU, I spent time working in the private sector and in the nonprofit sector, and did a lot of other things, but was always still involved in politics. And then I had this crazy idea one day to run for office myself to represent the district that I grew up in, and got elected. And now I've been doing this job for the last 6 years. It's the best job I've ever had. I'm going to miss it a lot when I'm done here shortly. And one of the reasons is just enjoying the work of representing my constituents, of advocating for policy changes that are going to help them and help the schools I represent and the companies that I represent. That's what I enjoy about the job the most. And I think civics is really important because I think it's really important for folks to know who their legislators are and who is representing them at the state capitol. Most people don't really pay attention to the state legislature and don't pay attention to who their legislators are and the decisions that we make. Here in the Senate, I'm one of 30 senators. And when we get together, we're tasked with making decisions on what the laws should be for everyone who either lives in Arizona or visits here, over 7 million people. Our state budget is about $15 billion a year, and that funds our K-12 schools, it funds our state universities, it funds roads and all the things that we do as a state. So it's really important that we have good people here to make those decisions, because the decisions that we make impact many millions of people. So knowing who your legislators are and engaging with them and building relationships with them and letting them know if they're doing things that you don't like or if they're doing things that you support, that's really, really important. Participating in elections, knowing who those candidates are, what they believe, what they want to do for their districts. I think all of that is really important. And people getting involved from a young age, I think, is important too. I've worked with a lot of the high schools in my district and worked with things like We the People competitions, and always get really excited when I meet young people who are engaged in civics and engaged in policy. I think they understand the gravity of the work that we do here at the legislature and know that it's really important that we elect good people to represent our constituents here at the state capitol. So this is my final year here at the Senate. I'm retiring and not running for reelection. So I am going to miss my job quite a bit, and I'm going to miss the people that I work with and the work that we do. I've been really fortunate to have a number of bills signed into law that I introduced. We've also passed several good state budgets, including the budget that we passed this year, that are going to make a lot of really important investments in our state's K-12 education system, our universities and community colleges, infrastructure all around the state, our water infrastructure. We just dedicated $1 billion to that. One of the first bipartisan budgets that we've had in a really long time. And I was really fortunate to be a part of that and help negotiate that agreement that we came up with earlier this year. So for me, it's very much ending on a high note, getting a lot of good bills passed this year, working in a bipartisan way. It just speaks to, why I'm going to miss the state capitol and miss the Senate, because I've been able to see how bills I've introduced and budgets I've helped pass, how they've impacted not just my constituents in District 18, but people all over the state. And for me, that's one of the most rewarding parts of the job is having an idea for a bill, introducing it, going through the legislative process. Anyone who knows how a bill becomes a law knows it's a very long, cumbersome, difficult process. And for me, the real benefit is getting that idea signed into law and then seeing it implemented and seeing how it's impacting people all over the state. I've been fortunate to have several bills that have done that. So in conclusion, I would say civics is very important. The people that you elect, not just to the legislature, but to your city councils and your school districts and at the county and the federal level is really, really important. And not enough people pay really close attention to that and know who their elected officials are. And you'd be surprised at the impact that you can have by just reaching out to your state senator or other elected officials and building that relationship and advocating for policies that are important to you, or maybe even reminding them that there are some things that you don't like that they're doing. That can always be helpful as well. So I encourage you to continue learning more about civics, learning more about government, who your elected officials are. If enough people do that, I think it can have a really beneficial impact on the policy process and on the laws that we pass here at the legislature. So thank you so much for having me, and appreciate you watching this video. Thank you.